This is the Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, on Alternative Talk, AM 1150. Now, back to the show with local mortgage and finance expert, Tina Mitchell.
Welcome back to the Money Hour with your host and mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell, right here at 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, March 21st show. I'm empowering our community, providing you with opportunities and solutions when it comes to your money. If you're hearing my show at a different time or day, you're listening to a rebroadcast. To talk with any of the guests I have in studio, please call the show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150, or online at themoneyhour.com. In studio right now, Tyler McKenzie, managing broker with John L. Scott Real Estate and 2015 president for Seattle King County Realtors. And we're going to talk with Tyler today about the local scoop in real estate. Tyler, thank you so much for joining me back on the show.
Tina, it is a pleasure to be back.
And it is just a real pleasure to have you here. I don't know if my listeners know, being the president of SCAR, Seattle King County Realtors, how important that is, not only to the real estate community, but to consumers and homeownership, and just really protecting the rights and everything that's happening. So I thank you so much, because this is a position that takes a lot of time, and to commit to doing this, you have to really be passionate and engaged in what you're doing, and then to actually get voted in as the president is quite an honor. So, Tyler, thank you so much for being here.
It's my pleasure. Thank you. And it's a pleasure to serve my peers and the public as well.
Yes. And a little bit about Tyler. Again, he's with John L. Scott Real Estate, 14 years in the business, managing broker with John L. Scott Real Estate, Seattle, South Lake Union, and top producer. 2015, as I said, Seattle King County Realtors president. Also served on the board of Washington Realtors and on committee at NAR as well. SCAR Realtor Achievement Award in 2013, Realtor of the Year nominee for WAMP 2012 and 2014. So excited to talk about a little bit about SCAR and what you're doing over there, as well as what's happening here in our local market and how it's affecting our buyers and sellers. So let's start out with the state of the greater Seattle market. What's happening, Tyler?
You know what? That's a great question. And I actually, as I was sitting here listening to the show, received an email with a market update. So I'm going to run an overview of that for you and our listeners. First off, let me say how much I appreciate hearing both you and Deborah say realtor, not realtor. We are a 2-syllable profession, not 3. Mm-hmm. To answer your question, in my 14 years, I've never seen the market this tight. Yeah. And I think many would say, and I've spoken with some realtors who've been in the business for a quarter of a century, that they've never seen inventory levels this low either. By point of reference, let me just run a quick stat by you. This is for Seattle currently. This is all inventory in Seattle. Okay. We are at about a 1.2 month supply.
Wow. And
1.2 month supply means a surge market. I would say on average in Seattle, a normal balanced market would be about 3 to 4 months. We tend to be a little shorter in our inventory levels than across the rest of the country. 1.2 across all price points, and this includes multi-million-dollar homes, which would typically dilute the data, is a phenomenally small number of available listings. So very, very tight, very hard on buyers, unfortunately, because it lends itself to multiple offers. Great for sellers. Yeah. The challenge being that anybody who wants to sell might need to find a place to live, and then they're faced with the same problem.
And that is the challenge in getting. It's just like a compound thing, because the sellers don't want to put their house on the market, even though they can get top plus dollar, because they don't have another house to buy. And I just heard from a realtor partner on it was a $1.8 million home that had 10 offers on it. I mean, it's just unbelievable, because isn't usually that market not so, so competitive?
Usually not so. And I would venture that probably 1 or 2 of those offers were all cash offers.
Yeah, of course.
In fact, on the east side, in the higher end market, about 40% of all purchases are made by foreign investors and are cash.
Yeah, unbelievable. So did I hear you say that this is the lowest level?
This is the lowest level in my career, and potentially the lowest level in a couple of generations.
Wow. So, Tyler, what about the economic indicators for our market? Can you go through those?
I can. Some of this is conjecture. Some of it is boots on the ground observation. Some of it is based in hard fact. But I can tell you, for instance, that if we just look at South Lake Union, where my office is located, we have Amazon adding about 16,000 new jobs in the next 2 years. We have Facebook adding another 2,000 jobs in the next year or so, I believe.
Wow.
So that's 18,000 new families coming to South Lake Union alone. We are on course for an increase in our population of, I think it is 60,000 in the next 10 years. I'm not sure about that stat, but I know that we are projected to add about another 150,000 people to the greater Seattle area in the next, by 2030.
Okay.
So we don't have enough housing to accommodate not only those who live here now, but those who are coming to town. We would effectively have to add about 6,000 to 8,000 units of housing, both resale and for rent, per year, to accommodate the increase in population.
So Tyler, if we've got a listener, somebody listening that's wondering about buyers, I mean, what does this mean for a buyer?
It's really, really hard on buyers. I mean, you mentioned earlier that interest rates are incredibly compelling, which is the good news for buyers, because if you can get into the market at 3.75%, you're already taking advantage of an historically low interest rate. The challenge is that the market's getting away from many buyers because things are appreciating so quickly. So if you're sitting on the fence or you're thinking maybe I'll get to this next year, in my humble opinion, if you wish to live in Seattle, you are making a grave mistake. This market will get away. I have clients, for instance, who started looking at homes probably 2 years ago in the 650 range in certain near North Seattle neighborhoods. And frankly, they were just so indecisive in their decision making that the market's gotten away from them and they can't purchase.
It's so unfortunate. And I just say, again, just the advice is just to get out there and keep going and be realistic with what your expectations are and get into the market. So what about what this means for sellers, Tyler?
Well, I think we touched on it. I think for sellers, it's important for sellers to be reasonable in pricing, because regardless of the state of the market, if you're overpriced, you're overpriced, and you'll end up being the stepchild at the at the dance who's not getting the kind of attention that you deserve. So, working with your listing broker to ensure that you're getting good information is hugely important. So there are several different strategies that a seller can employ in terms of doing those things that are necessary to secure the highest and best offer. That can be holding off and reviewing offers. It can be encouraging or not encouraging pre-inspections. There's so many different strategies, and it's also still a microcosmic market. So you may be in Green Lake and enjoying 30 offers, or you could be somewhere in South Seattle and not get any. So it really depends on what your neighborhood is, what your price point is, et cetera.
And we've talked a little bit about sellers, obviously, on the show because of everything that's happening in the real estate market. And, I always tell my listeners that as a seller, even though it's an amazing market, you could have 30 offers, you still need to work with the best of the best. Because do you want to maximize your potential on that dollar amount and the net profit? Absolutely. So, Tyler, in your role as president, Seattle King County Realtors for 2015, what can you tell my listeners about the availability and affordability of housing in Seattle and the surrounds?
I have to tell you, I'm going to be quite blunt. I think that Seattle is more like San Francisco that we've ever seen before. This is a very different marketplace. Because of this influx in population, we are experiencing the housing shortages that I've talked about. This is creating a struggle for the middle class. Affordable housing is something that is very, very difficult to find. And frankly, if you're somebody earning a middle-class wage, it could be a real struggle finding something within a reasonable commuting distance of your job. So one of the things that I enjoy about my role as president is that I do sometimes get to meet with our city leaders and express our concerns and be face-to-face with some of our councilmen and others and say, this is a big problem for the city. We need to sort this out. And transportation is another huge issue. Yeah,
and I have transportation, Sound Transit in a few times in studio. So, lots of things going on there. So When you talked about being similar to San Francisco. I mean, usually we could look at San Francisco as a prediction of where our market's going to go, but now being right there. What about, you mentioned a little bit about foreign buyers, Tyler, and there's a lot of them coming into our market for the opportunity. Do you feel it's good for them to be buying in the Seattle market?
Well, it's certainly good for them if they're trying to protect their own investments.
Yes.
It can be tough on those people who live here already.
Yes.
As a complete aside, I can tell you that my family has a flat in London, and I have heard stories of certain upmarket neighborhoods in London being so heavily invested in by foreign investors who never live in their homes that the neighborhoods are quiet. Now, that's not something that I see necessarily happening in Seattle, but Seattle is becoming, in my view, one of those markets that's looking more recession-proof than I've seen certainly in my career here, and starting to look more like a world-class market that investors from around the globe are paying attention to.
Yes, and the frustrating thing with the inventory really is, for people that can't get into a home, the first-time home buyers that are renting. I mean, what's going to happen for them, Tyler, if they can't get a property? Look at what the rents are doing. I mean, it's like they're in a position they can't. My stepdaughter has just moved here from Colorado, staying with Dave and I, and it's been quite a while that they've been with us, which is really awesome. But they're out there actually looking at properties all the time, and they've got multiple offers on rents, and they're going before they can get an appointment. And what do you have advice for those people that are in that transitional?
You know what? When I was a young person, I was living in Los Angeles, and I never had a commute that was less than 45 minutes, regardless of where I lived. And that's really just sort of a fact of life living in a major, thriving American city.
Yes.
We are faced with making choices that will compel us to perhaps live further afield than we've been accustomed to.
Yes.
And we're going to become more of a commuting culture, I think, as a result of that, which is unfortunate, because one of the things that draws people to Seattle is the great way of life that we have, and it's also accessible. And, one may find oneself living in Fife and commuting to work.
Yeah. Oh, my.
Yeah.
Don't tell that to my stepdaughter. So what about if we've got somebody listening thinking about becoming a broker? What would you tell them?
I would say that this is an amazing time to get in the business. If you can survive and thrive in this business, then you can survive and thrive in any. I was in the trenches in 2008 when it was so hard because there were too many sellers and not enough buyers. And many of my colleagues just stayed at home and stuck their heads in the sand. It's a similar market. There are too many buyers and not enough sellers.
It's funny how that works.
It's difficult, but if you can build the tools and develop your business in this climate, then you are certainly going to be successful when things ease up. And they will eventually. It's always cyclical.
Exactly. And I don't say that I want to have stress or challenge for the market or for the economy by any means, but it definitely doesn't scare me. And it really is an opportunity to get out there and help people, because that's when they need it most. Closing thoughts, Tyler, before we wrap up my time with you.
Closing thoughts, if you're looking at the market today, act, don't delay. Make sure that you're working with a real estate professional who is seasoned, or if they're new, you do your vetting and your interview process to ensure that they know their profession. You need to be set up for success in this marketplace. The other thing that I would offer on the lending side is get full loan approval if that's possible. It's going to make the difference when you're competing with a cash buyer.
Makes total sense. Tyler, thank you so much for sharing your wealth of information with my listeners. Always a pleasure to see you, and congratulations again on your role at SCAR, and just excited to see what you're going to do this year.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Tina.
Coming up next in the Money Hour, with so many credit repair companies out there and a lack of sites willing to bring you the real story on credit repair, I decided it was important, being the Money Hour, to bring a credit expert in studio, Kyle Schultz, FICO certified credit expert with 360 Credit Consulting, right here on 1150 AM KKNW after the short break.